Hey, and welcome again to another edition of the Digital Plantation. Because as you should know by now, the internet is one big digital plantation. I'm your host, Dwayne, and I'm so glad to have you guys join us with this another edition of our podcast here. So glad to have you guys here today. Okay, so today we're going to talk about just a couple of things here. We're going to start off the conversation today with this topic that kind of came up earlier. I guess it was the last time I did a broadcast over here on YouTube, and it was about Black Expos. I'm going to talk about that, just the whole thing, the concept of Black Expos. Do they really help? Do they really benefit? We're going to talk about that. And then later on, after the break, then we're going to get into, talking about what's going on in the American economy right now. Was this something that was prophesied? Well, we're going to talk about that because, I have an audio clip I want you to hear and check out. This goes back down to 2009. So yeah, we're going to talk about that. But anyway, Black Expos. Let's talk about this for a second. Now, when I say Black Expos, for those of you who should be aware of this, what I mean by that, we've all have, received a flyer, or maybe you've seen maybe some organization that you're part of, or maybe it's a radio ad or whatever, or, internet ad about the big Black Expo that's going to take place downtown this week. Bring your friends, bring your family. We're going to have music. We're going to have, and then they'll name whomever, the big artist is going to be there signing autographs, or, maybe it's some big motivational speaker or something like that. Right. And so, typically that's the flow. Now, when you start thinking about this, now, my wife and I, we've been in business. We're not experts, but we've have quite a bit of experience here. And so when I would go to these expos, I don't know about you, but many times when I go there, I'm seeing a lot of the people, these businesses, the business owners, they're just standing there with their arms folded. And they're just trying to get your eye attention, and I have to be honest, because I'm trying to look straight ahead. Why? It's not because I don't like my people. So please don't go there with that, because I tend to be on the giving side. So soon as I get eye contact, hey, bro, how you doing, man? And I know these folks are really trying to get a sale, trying to get something, and so I ain't got money like that. You know what I'm saying? But, I'll, buy something here, there, whatever, but a lot of this, they're just standing there, and ain't nothing really happening. Where everybody is? They're either over at the food section, or they're at the stage where the music is going on, or they're sitting down and listening to the motivational speaker. And so recently I did a post on here on YouTube on a community page, and I talked about this, and I said, basically, I just broke it down like this. These Black Expos, they, for the most part, are not set up for success. They really are not. A lot of times, because the reason why is because it's too general. It's too broad. Because again, you have typically you have when we have these Black Expos, you'll have like 30 sisters that are selling body butters. You know what I mean? Or oils or candles or something like that. And it ain't no shade, ain't nothing wrong with that. But you're literally paying to be in a saturated market. And you really think you're going to come out there with something. And more often than not, you don't. And so, why? Because it's too broad. It's too broad. And the people who typically come out as the winners with these Black Expos are the people who either organized it, the people who own the facility, and the people who have come there to perform or to give a talk or something like that. Those are the big winners there when it comes to these, when it comes to these Black Expos. But the business owners tend to be the biggest losers because nobody's really buying anything. And again, so why is it? Why is that the case? Because again, as I just pointed out, because it's a oversaturated situation. because typically when these planners, when they get together, they'll say, okay, here's the floor layout. On this side, we're going to have the food. On this side, we're going to have where the music is. And in this big space here is going to be all the businesses. Well, okay. It's too broad. Now, why is it then? So someone may ask, well, why is it that other expos succeed, such as like a wedding expo or something like that? Exactly. You're getting ahead of me. The reason why these other expos tend to do very well, such as if it's electronics or if it's a wedding or photography, is because it's dealing with something very specific to people. So in other words, it's going to draw a specific, not just a specific people, but you're bringing people together for a specific interest. Now, generally speaking, as Black folks, we want to specifically see our people win, right? And to excel and to succeed in business, right? Right. But there's a way we can do it and do it a lot better and where it's more effective. In other words, if you're going to have a Black expo, for example, have one where it's a Black expo, let's say a Black wedding expo. Okay, now you're getting somewhere because now you're dealing with a specific area of interest. So wedding expo. So in the wedding expo, you're going to have people who bake. You're going to have people who, it's going to get a whole wide range of interests. You're going to have your photographers. You're going to have, people who make dresses. You're going to have people who are hairstylists, that kind of thing, right? So now it's more concentrated and you're focused on a specific interest that's going to draw out people who are really interested in that particular topic. In this particular case, we're talking about weddings. You can do the same thing, let's say, for if you did an expo that was on, food trucks. I don't know. I mean, an expo on, I'm trying to think of something like land buying, people who want to buy land, for example. Well, you're going to get a whole range of people that it's again, you're drawing people in that have a specific interest. And so that way now when the people, as they're coming through that door, they're coming in there for something very specific and you're increasing the rate of success for everybody that's in there. You understand what I'm saying? Now, contrast that to saying we're going to have a Black expo. Well, you're going to get all kinds of stuff. There's no specific thing to it. Do you understand what I'm saying? In other words, it's, this is why you end up with your 30 sisters with body butters. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's very discombobulated and it's oversaturated. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this is my point. So, because Black is a very wide term. I don't think I've ever heard of a white expo, right? That's too broad of a term. I've never heard of a Chinese expo or, a Puerto Rican expo or whatever. It's too wide of a term because that you're going to get, there's no like, okay, in the back, the people who are organizing it, there's not like, okay, well, we're going to have, we only need 5 people making candles. Okay. We need 3 people making this. We need 7 people who specialize in that or whatever. There's never that. And unfortunately, a lot of these planners, it's all about getting these businesses that are already at their ends. They probably have to borrow the $500 or whatever it is per table just to get a table. And only you just sitting there all day with your arms folded and mad at everybody because nobody ain't buying your stuff. And then you in the car the whole time afterwards talking about, this is why I'm telling Black folks, we don't be supporting one another, all of that stuff. And so, no, that's not the case. You just paid to be part of an oversaturated marketplace. So it's not going to work. You understand what I'm saying? So if you, as a small business owner, if you're someone that wants to, get out there and showcase the stuff that you do, be it if it's a service that you provide or if it's products that you make or whatever, look into areas where you can give yourself a good chance to stand out. And a Black business expo that is not specific, that doesn't have any specific you know what I'm trying to say, right? If it's not a specific one, then chances are it's not going to work out for you. Save your money and put that money towards some Google ads or something else out there that's going to get you a greater opportunity to make sales. Because if you're just throwing yourself out there and just, is this where your net is too big? Do you understand what I'm saying? So I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here. I'm all for our people getting together, and I'm all about wanting to see our people win and succeed. But we need to do it in a way where it's a higher rate of success. All right, so when we come back, we're going to talk about that economy situation that I was just mentioning. You're listening to The Digital Plantation. I'll see you after the break. These companies, you think just because they put someone on the screen that's smiling, and they just like, we just love ourselves. We just love our white teeth. When we use this toothpaste, it's just so minty fresh. And guess what? They even put black people on there. So they really just love us, and they really care for us, and they would never do anything harmful to us at all. These people would never do that. Well, it's time to wake up, because it's a whole circular program. So you take that stuff, right? You know how they say 4 out of 5 dentists recommend? I would too. Because guess what? You use that toothpaste, guess who you're going to go to? The 4 out of 5. You're going to go to the 4 out of 5. That's why they recommend it. So yes, so it's all built in that way. And they said the National American Seal of Approval. I guess it does have the seal of approval because it's an automatic bag for them. All right, we're back. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Digital Plantation podcast right here on YouTube. So glad that you guys can join us. And yes, so toothpaste, you definitely want, if you're looking for some good toothpaste, hey, you need to stop by sambatree.com. Again, the website is Samba, that's SAMBA tree.com. Yeah, if you still buying that Colgate nonsense or the AIM, if you still buying that kind of stuff, man, you know what you're doing to your teeth? Man, stop buying that stuff and stop by sambatree.com. We specialize in toothpaste and tooth powder. That's all good for your teeth and your dental hygiene. Check it out. Again, the website is sambatree.com. All right, let's go ahead and get on back here and what we're going to be talking about here. Now, as you may be very aware, did you catch the news this week? They said that McDonald's out of all places, the corporate offices, they said we're going to be shut down this week. Now, I've never heard a Fortune 500 company saying we just going to be shut down this week. Don't even bother. In fact, y'all just stay home. For real now, this is what they said. They told their employees, they said, listen, talking about in the corporate office, not in the restaurant. They said, just stay home this week. Work at home, because we're going to let you know whether or not if you're going to have a job by the end of the week. Yeah, they're going hard like that. And then I also saw an article where they said Walmart, as you know, Walmart's been phasing out of several states, I think, and saying, hey, listen, we getting up out of here. Like places like what I want to say, Washington. I think Washington State, for example, or Portland. They're saying we're trying to get up out of here, and they're trying to blame it on, it's the high rate of crime and all this stuff. Listen, ain't no crime. That got very little to do with crime. Do you know how much crime it is in places like I don't know, Atlanta? And Walmart is still in Atlanta. But, so they ain't pulling out of Atlanta. No, it ain't. It's got very little to do with crime. This is a controlled demolition, ladies and gentlemen, of our economy. And just like what I mentioned with McDonald's, and then Walmart, and you have many, many other companies. You remember before this whole COVID thing broke out, there was I forgot to count. There was a large amount of CEOs of companies that all decided to quit like within like a month. It's crazy. So anyway, yeah, this is a controlled demolition. Now, before you go off and think that you're just getting into some conspiracy stuff here. Well, let's take a listen to your friend, and he certainly ain't my friend, George Soros, he was speaking to the Financial Times. This is back in 2009. And this is what he had to say in regards to what he was seeing, what was going to happen when it comes to this economy. Take a listen.
But the system we have now has actually broken down, only we haven't quite recognized it. And so you need to create a new one. And this is the time to do it.
In the United States, how worried are you about the budget deficit and maybe about the possibility of inflation?
Well, certainly a decline in the value of the dollar is necessary in order to compensate for the fact that the U.S. economy will remain rather weak, will be a drag on the global economy. China will emerge as the motor replacing the U.S. consumer. And, of course, it's a smaller motor because the Chinese economy is much smaller. So the world economy will have less of a motor. So it will move forward slower than it has in the last 25 years. But China will be the engine driving it forward, and the U.S. will be actually a drag that's being pulled along through a gradual decline in the value of the dollar. So there would be a slow decline in the value of the dollar, a managed decline. And that would be the adjustment that it needs to be accomplished.
There you go. Sorry, get my stuff together here. Well, you hear that? Back in 2009. He's certainly a prophet. Because that's what we're seeing today. If you haven't been following the news, family, we actually talked about this back last year, I think. We were talking about BRICS. And what is BRICS? Well, that's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Well, these countries got together some time ago and said, we want to work on a way where we can not be dependent on the American dollar. We're going to come up with our own currency, right? Well, since then, I just mentioned those countries, but you also have Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Egypt. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's going to be a lot more African countries as well that's going to jump on this in a moment here. And, so these people, the powers that shouldn't be, have been telling us for a very long time that this is the plan all along. And that is that this new economy is going to be one that's going to be not driven by the U.S. dollar. Now, you may ask yourself, why is that? Why is that? Well, here is my thought on that. Now, we could say right now, America isn't, when it comes to America being a beacon of justice and fairness and equality and all of that, America is not that. Okay, so let's be 110% clear with that fact. Okay, but with that being said, this is what's on the label. All right, and for the most part, on the label, depending on who the recipients are, you're going to get some little form of that. Okay, where there's going to be the right to privacy kind of stuff, and, all the things that they say that we as Americans are supposed to have, right? Freedom and all this other stuff, right? Well, that's on the label, but you and I know that's really not the case, right? But that's on the label. Well, now the reason why I believe they want China now to lead off on this is because China, again, which represents communism. And for bonus points, I would ask you can put in the comments section, who are the people responsible for creating communism? I'll let you answer that. You can put that in the chat. But anyway, with China leading the way, as you know, China is known for its socialism, its communism, whatever. It's known for basically controlling people's lives at the very just the micro level. I mean, just everything about people, the things that, in fact, Obama said this years ago. He was like, I am jealous. He told whoever the president of China at that time, he said, I'm actually jealous. He said, I wish I had the power that you had. So this is what these powers that shouldn't be. They want a baseline that they can operate off, where they can get away and they can start pushing these new, legislation, these new rules or laws and all this other stuff. And they're going to do it by using digital currency. Right? Digital currency is going to be the basis of it. Now, the thing about digital currency is that it's something that can really be controlled. It can be tracked. Someone brought up a point that is so basic. I was like, man, how did I miss that? But it's true. Let's say, for example, you're in a particular town, right? And let's say you want to go to another town that's about maybe 10 miles away. Well, with this new economy, digital economy, if you violate whatever it is that they have in place, they can say you are going to restrict where you can purchase. So your money may be good at the grocery store around the corner from you. But if you try to go to the next state and try to use it, well, it wouldn't work. This is the kind of control that they want. And China has been test marketing this, if you will, for a long time. And so now they're ready for the big rollout. And ladies and gentlemen, right now, that's where we are right now. We're at the big rollout. They're phasing things out right now. The fact that they got former President Trump sitting in the courtroom right now, all of this stuff is just drama to keep you distracted, and a reminder that what you know as the American economy is pretty much about going and out of here. And this is something they've been planning for a very long time. I really hope that you have been doing your part to make sure that you and your family have been looking ahead and you're prepared for this great transition that we're about to go through, or actually we're going through right now. And a lot of people really don't realize it because they're so caught up in, hand gestures at the college, women's college game or whatever. And, black versus white reactions and, and what did the first lady say and courtroom drama and all this other stuff. It's all distraction from the big party that's really going down. So anyway, I hope you're staying focused, family, and I hope you're doing what you need to do to make sure you and your family are taken care of. Well, that's about it for me here at the Digital Plantation. Now, listen, you guys take care, and I'll see you next time.